Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again with another Perils in Paradise card review, and we have 3 more neutrals revealed, including a brand new giant based off locations. Are we gonna have another giant breaking the game? We already got a lot of giants being very impactful and standard. Kind of spooks me, as well as obviously a couple of other cards. If you want to win these cards or any of the other cards from this expansion, we're giving away 2 regular pre-orders, 1 mega bundle out of my pocket to enter that giveaway. Like and comment in the video, link down in the description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel. Every 1,000 subs we get until all the cards are revealed, I will add another mega bundle. So hit that sub button, make me go broke. So let's take a look at some more neutral cards. And again, remember, I know people are always like, man, the power level of this expansion, it seems a lot lower. And then the class cards come out like, oh yeah, power creep and craziness are more reserved for those neutral cards, or sorry, the class cards. But sometimes, yeah, neutrals pop up and are playable, particular legendaries, maybe even that Grifta we took a look at earlier today. Anyways, starting off, we have a new battle cry minion here in Scrapbooking Student. A 5 mana 5/5, looks a lot like that transfer student back in the day, with battle cry. Summon a copy of a friendly location. So this could be insane with your pirate legendary druid and get another location. People already crapping all over that card that it's absolutely terrible. I'm not convinced it's that bad. But yeah, you want to take advantage of some locations, you can play this and get some more. And yes, even more ways of getting puppet theaters. The card that's driving me crazy, this is just somehow going to enable more of that. It's very expensive. A 5 mana, get another location when most locations are not worth copying, but Prison of Yogg-Saron, that's a pretty good one to copy, 7 mana. And we're gonna get way more locations revealed. They're gonna be class locations, I would imagine, that like you can refresh their usability and all of that with all these classes. So there's going to be some pretty strong locations coming up. It's just, is it worth playing a 5/5 to possibly copy one? Obviously, it's a dead card until you've drawn your locations. It's a dead card if you've used up your locations. So there is that. It's probably too clunky and expensive, particular 5 mana just to get an extra location. It really depends on how insane the locations are from the set. In particular, maybe Mage has a good one. Who knows? I don't know how I would ever know that, but regardless, I will give it a 2 out of 5. I think this type of effect is probably too expensive, too situational, just cannot be good enough. But again, as always, you can brand and get more locations. You can shutter block and get more locations, but that's probably not really worth it. I'll give it a 2 out of 5 in Standard and Wild. Again, I don't think you're copying locations of Wild. Actually, do anybody even play locations? I think Priest, because like the Cathedral one's pretty good. Other than that, there's not much you're playing in Wild for locations. So yeah, we'll give it a 2 there as well. Another location synergistic card here. We have a 2 mana, 2/3 mech, XB931 Housekeeper. After you use a location, so you just use one of its usages, you gain 3 armor. So that can help keep you alive. And you can also just combo it like that druid location, right? Once you gain armor with that, you get to discover a taunt. And I guess in Warrior too, I believe Warrior can use druid cards. So Warrior can play this as well. Gain armor, use the location, gain armor, use the location, gain armor, use the location, right? That should work the way it reads. After you use a location, gain 3 armor. This could be like a weird Odin combo of something somehow. I don't know. Other than that, I don't know what you're really using. But again, if you have those locations where you're using them multiple times a turn, you can gain like 3, 6, 9, 12 armor in one turn. That's something you can't completely write off. That can help out a lot of decks, especially classes that don't particularly have the best ways of staying alive right now. Let's say a mage gaining armor, although they have ways of gaining armor other than that, but like a rogue too, classes that typically don't have great survival tools could absolutely use a card like this. This might be playable. It might be worth it. But again, it's not tempo, it's not value, it's purely helping you stay alive with, again, you have to have that location ready. It's situational. You don't want to play this on 2. It's a weirder one. Again, with the repeatable locations, it certainly has some validity to it. I'm gonna give it a 3. I think this could see meta play, particularly just look at Warrior in that location where it'll just like refresh each other, and or Druid too, right? So I'll give it a 3 out of 5 in standard. I absolutely could see this, you know, slotting in that like niche thing, or somehow spawning an Odin combo or something like that. And in Wild, where I mentioned locations, not as much a thing, but again, maybe the locations is set are so busted, you do want to play them in Wild. I still doubt you want to play Housekeeper to gain some armor, because even Warrior has like a billion ways of gaining incredible amounts of armor in Wild. So we'll give it a 2, but again, not totally writing this one off. I think it could see play. And then lastly, we have yet another new giant, the Seaside Giant. It is a 10 mana minion, 8/8 stats as always. It costs 2 less for each time you've used a location this game. Back and then you play the Arbor location, right? You refresh it like 3 times. This is down to 4 mana, which is still not incredible. If we know anything about giants, they have to come down for like 0 mana on like turns, what, 5, 4, 6 to really be impactful. And we're seeing that right now in standard, whether it's Sea Giant, whether it's Molten Giant, whether it's Mountain Giant coming down on 4, it does cost mana or whatever, or you have the new Playhouse Giant or whatever it's called, the one that Rogue uses. It's just disgusting. I don't think this is fast enough. Like, you're only getting 2 less for each time you use a location. You got to use a location 5 times to get this to 0. So it absolutely has to be like one of those refreshable, reusable locations. Again, it will totally vary. It'll totally depend on how crazy or how easy those are to accomplish. Let's say Rogue, for example, they always like have something cheap and easy, right? They'll probably have one that's like bouncing each turn or drawing cards each turn, one or the other, right? And then they get into Seaside Giant and it works, and then it's 0 mana. That's what I'm thinking of. It's got to be something where it's a more cheap option for a location, easily repeatable, and you can get this out relatively quickly, and then you can like Celestial Projectionist it and get multiple, which is exactly what every giant strategy is doing these days, as we may have talked about another day. I will never ever say a giant will be unplayable unless it's just clearly unplayable. This has the potential, depending on what those locations are, that we will see in the upcoming weeks. I will give it 3 for now. I might want to bump that up later, but I'll give it a 3 that it could see play, because yes, giants, especially of the 0 mana variety, can be quite the meta force. And in Wild, I'll give it a 3 there too, because you just never know, depending on what those locations can be and the broken synergies that can be enabled by wild cards, like a Secret Passage, for example, can be pretty darn absurd. So we'll give it a 3 in both formats. And that's it for the reveals for now. We got one more in like an hour. So again, stay tuned. Lots more to talk about. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.